Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the 2025 Arnold Sports Festival here in Columbus, Ohio. And we are here for the USA Powerlifting Equipped Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nick Stevens, and I'm joined by the one and the only
Kevin Serrano.
And we are going to have a very short list of lifters for this session, but still some phenomenal action nonetheless. All of our equipped full power lifters will be competing in this session today, so we're going to see squat, bench, and deadlift for all of the equipped portion.
Again, we're here at the Arnold Sports Festival in the Greater Columbus Convention Center. We are here for our final session of the day to close out the USA Powerlifting portion here at the Arnold Sports Festival.
That's right. We've had about two sessions a day this week. So we started off Friday with our Masters competition. And then yesterday we started to move into more of our full power raw sessions, and then today we had our bench bash last session, and then this session now is our equipped full power. So let's get right into the action here. We've got Miss Ann Whitmarsh starting us off here with, she's going to be taking 72.5 kilos for her opening squat attempt. Miss Ann Whitmarsh, former champion, or current champion, in the equipped masters division.
Very easy opening squat for her there on platform 1. Ted Stewart will kick us off here on platform 2, 165 kilos.
And one thing you're going to notice, folks, for this competition, rather than with raw powerlifting, all of our lifters today will be competing wearing equipment, that's why it's called equipped. So they'll be wearing a squat suit, most likely. Excellent squat there, Ted Stewart on platform 2. So he's wearing a squat suit. You see it's a lot more restricting to the movement than a regular singlet is. Singlet's a lot more forgiving, a lot more flexible. You might also see lifters wear knee wraps rather than knee sleeves. And all of these bits of equipment are just to provide added support for the lifter to be able to lift heavier weight, basically. On top of being able to lift heavier weight, like we were saying in prior sessions, you do have that added risk because you have to fight against the suit pretty much. There's a lot more technicality involved with equipped lifting. So, yes, a lot of folks may say, oh, you're putting a suit on, it's going to make the weight easier. Absolutely not. There's a lot more nuance with this sport and a lot more technique and execution that's involved with equipped powerlifting. Beautiful. Oh. Got a good grab there by the spotters and loaders there. Susan Paxson looked like she got a little bit tipped over there, and we're going to see that a lot here with equipped powerlifting. A lot of times, like we were saying, you have to fight against the suit, and you have to lift against the tension of the suit because it's a very unforgiving material. With that, you have to be a lot more finite and then be able to execute that much better with your technique. Otherwise, you risk missing the weight, you risk a misgroove, and with that much of a restrictive movement anyway, it's going to be that much harder to recover.
Bruce Berry coming up next here on platform 2, 220 kilos, 486 pounds.
Bruce Berry, 220 kilos. We're talking 485 big ones.
Nandi Shi on platform 1. Bruce Berry able to find that bottom position of the squat and recover. Let's see what the referees say. 2-to-1, no lift on depth.
And now interesting that we see that there, again, along the lines of, fighting against the suit. With a squat suit, because it's designed to help you stand up, it's going to be that much harder to get down into that adequate depth point where, a lot of times raw lifters have that issue. And so it takes that extra bit of effort to get into that depth point, and a lot of times they're going down slower, so it's easier for our referees to see whether or not they hit that. All right, Mr. Alan Crockover on platform 2. He's going to be taking 527 and a half. 507 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. Or sorry, 512 pounds. Nope, 501 pounds. I don't know how to do math.
Bit of a last-minute dip there for Allen in that bottom squat position. Able to find that depth, 2 to 1. That is a good lift.
And that's an interesting play as well. You know, you have that extra dip, so you use that elasticity of the suit in order to get that depth. Vanina Brown, platform 1. Very clean. That's going to be a good lift for Vanina.
And Preston Savoy Jr. making his 4th and final appearance here at the Arnold Sports Festival, who competed just last session in the men's equipped and raw bench portion.
Preston Savoy Jr., no stranger to the national stage. Easy opening squat there. And that was only in the low 500s, so if we're going to see anything like Preston Savoy's competed in prior competitions, we're going to see some massive jumps in the next attempts here.
Keolani Richardson over on platform 1, a very decorated lifter who's won multiple national championships and podium finishes across many placements here in the Arnold Sports Festival and at national championships for USA Powerlifting.
Keolani Richardson, coached by the Hartman Performance Training Team. And we've got Corey Catrancha on platform 2, coached by Nick Benrakis, who just competed in our bench session earlier today. Very fast opener there from Keolani, but do we have the depth that we need? And we do. 3 white lights. Unfortunately, not the story there for Mr. Corey. Got 2 to 1, no lift on depth there.
And again, we see 2 very distinct techniques here with these 2 lifters that just went. Keolani Richardson took a very fast descent into her squat. Meanwhile, Corey taking a very slow and controlled descent. Very unique to each lifter, each one with their own benefits and drawbacks. So as we progress, we'll see a lot of different techniques from these lifters who have lots of combined decades of experience.
All right, here's Andy Bui, 220 kilos, 485 pounds. Rocking the Titan Super Centurion singlet. Titan's been a very strong supporter of USA Powerlifting for decades. Premier creators of all sorts of powerlifting equipment. Beautiful opener there from Andy, 3 white lights. Here's David Villafranca on platform 2. 280 kilos, folks. Beautiful there from David. Slow, methodical. Unfortunately, 2 to 1 on depth, so that's going to be a no lift for him.
Up next here, we have Cordarius Harris, who's taking a 240 kilo opening squat attempt. Cordarius, a lifter out of Mississippi.
If I'm not mistaken, from Blue Mountain Christian. Go Toppers. Cordarius Harris, I believe our champion at this year's Youth Bench and Equip Nationals. Making a statement here today. 3 white lights for that opening attempt. Sorry, 2 white lights. And then our last lifter in this flight here, platform 1, Josue Leon, 255 kilos. Or sorry, McKenna Henderson is up next. Completely skipped Miss McKenna, I do apologize. 250 kilos for her.
Meanwhile, on platform 2, we're getting started with our second attempts. Ted Stewart retaking 165.
That looked deep enough to me. He sat down there too, wanted to make sure the judges knew where that depth was. Oh my goodness. 2 to 1, no lift with a blue light, so I wonder if they caught him double bouncing at the bottom. I wonder if that's what that was. Ladies and gentlemen, double bouncing is when, let's say you're at the bottom of a squat and you kind of sit there. Let's say you do a little bit of a bounce to get you that extra momentum to stand right back up. That is a blue card in powerlifting. You're not allowed to do that. It's possible our judges saw that just now. So for Ted Stewart, having missed his first 2 attempts, he has to make 165 in order to stay on the board. It looks like that's what he put in for that 3rd attempt. McKenna Henderson got that opener at 250 kilos. Now here's Josue Leon, 562 pounds, 255 kilos.
Bruce Berry up next on platform 2, who's our reigning equipped national champion.
All right, here's Josue, platform 1. Ooh, those knee wraps are tight, very slow and controlled into the ground. Very emphatic with the stand-up, 3 white lights. Here's Bruce Berry. The walkout is the scariest part sometimes with these lifters. Those knee sleeves are not forgiving at all. Bruce Berry, that looked okay on speed. Are the judges going to give it to him? They are not. And that's going to be 3 red cards across the board there. Here's Ann Whitmarsh starting us off on our 2nd attempts on platform 1. Multiple-time national champion, Ann Whitmarsh. Beautiful. 2-1, that's going to be a good lift for Ms. Whitmarsh. Here's Alan Crockover. Achieved that opener at 227, now taking 245. It's 560 pounds, and that's going to be 2-1, a good lift.
And again, a lot of the times when it comes to equip lifting, sometimes you might just need a little bit more weight to get you down there. With some of these depth calls, sometimes you might just need to go up in weight in order to have that little extra push down into the hole.
Here's Susan Paxson, platform 1, retaking 87.5. She had a little bit of a bobble on her stand-up for the first rep, so let's see if she's able to find the control that she needs. She's taking her time on the walkout. And folks, you have until your minute is up to get the start command for the squat, so she has plenty of time here. Here's Susan. Much, much better. Much more clean lockout there. Here's Preston Savoy going all the way up to 600 pounds.
Puts up a fantastic grind with that weight, and the referees say
3 white lights. Now, if you were, I don't know if you were paying attention, but his first attempt was 4 reds and a blue. This time it was 5 reds and a blue. So I wonder if he's going to go another red for his 3rd attempt. Here's Nandy G, platform 1, 115 kilos.
Plenty of deep squat there for Nandy. Let's see what the referees say. 3 whites, that is
beautiful.
A good lift.
Corey Catrancha has to get help with that one. Missed 260, went up 20 kilos and missed that. So now that puts Corey in a very, very tough position here. He's going to have to retake 280. But
so again, as a reminder, Corey missed his opener on depth, but now coming along his 2nd attempt, he missed it on strength. Who knows if it was a positional issue or not, but he will have to take a third squat in order to get something on the board.
And I was going to say, you know, with equipped powerlifting, a lot of times it's that slight misgroove that can take you out of your squat. So who knows? Corey may make the next one look like air. David Villafranca missed 280, going up reasonably modest 5 kilos, but it looks like it was on depth, that prior call. So we'll see if he's able to get just a little bit deeper there. It moved easy enough. Ooh, a little shaky on the left side, but he holds on to it.
Looks a bit better than his opener. Let's see what the referees say. 3 white lights, that is a good lift, and he's on the board.
Beautiful work. And we're now back to the top of the order, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like Preston Savoy has scratched his third attempt, so he will be holding his squat at 600 pounds. So now we're going to take to the top of the order Mr. Ted Stewart, looking to retake 165, still trying to get on the board here. And then Kaolani Richardson on platform 1. 217.5 kilos. Again, Kaolani, your returning national champion. Clipped 100 kilo division. This is 479 pounds. And my goodness, I don't think she could have squatted that any faster.
Squat for an equipped lifter. 2 to 1, that is a good lift.
Here's Ted Stewart coming up. And, you know, we're looking at Ted Stewart here. He's taken 3 attempts. And, I mean, we've only been commentating for about 17 minutes. That is fast, ladies and gentlemen. To have a flight of 10 people, let alone 5 or 6, is tiring. It's an added effort for our powerlifters, and I wonder if Ted didn't do that double bounce again there. He did not. 2 to 1. Ted is on the board, ladies and gentlemen.
Again, if you recall, Ted got called for depth on his opener, got called for double dipping in the hole on his second, but gets a good lift on the third, so he's on the board.
Here's Andy Bui, platform 1. Very slow and methodical. Getting that bar loaded there for Bruce Berry on 2. He's getting his wrist wraps nice and tight there. And if any of the folks at home have ever been to an equipped powerlifting meet or been to a gym where folks are putting knee wraps on, it takes a little bit. It takes about 3, 4, 5 minutes. And so that's another thing you have to kind of take into account with the timing of the meet as well. It takes longer to get set up for equipped lifting, but then you've also got shorter flights. So these guys are really working on some interesting constraints here.
With the speedy platform on platform 2, a lot of these lifters step off the platform, get their knee wraps off, and then only to have to put them back on because they're just a few lifters out.
Here's McKenna Henderson, another equipped national champion. She competed at this year's Youth Bench and Equipped Nationals. Here's Bruce Berry. Let's see what he's got. He needs to be on the board for this one. Can he find his way down? Oh, nope. Looks like it looked like he hit the J hook there a little bit. And so that's unfortunately going to be a no lift. And Bruce Berry, unfortunately, for the remainder of this meet, will not be able to post a total. However, he still does have bench and deadlift, so we look forward to seeing him compete throughout the rest of this competition. Bars loaded up next for Mr. Cordarius Harris on platform 1. Product of Blue Mountain Christian, 578 pounds. All right, here's Alan Crockover. Looking to set himself apart from the rest of the pack here. Oh, but Cordarius Harris, what a grind.
Point.
I wouldn't put on another attempt there. I would scratch it right there. Oh, no, 2 to 1, no lift. Never mind, I'm retaking it. Yes, Alan Crockover looking to go 3 for 3 on squat here. And unfortunately
no
does
lift.
not get the dice there. 2-to-1 no lift on depth.
A very important lift coming up next on platform 2 for Corey, who missed his opening squat on depth. Since then, upped his squat by 20 kilos to 280 kilos, but got called on, but was a strength issue. So now he is retaking that for his third here. Josue Leon here on platform 1.
Both men walking out very heavy weights here. Josue Leon looking to get a re-rack here. He did not get the start command, so he's able to take his time. But here's Corey looking to get on the board here. 280 kilos. Can he stand up with it?
Looks like
I said, ladies and gentlemen, all it takes is a quick groove fix. But no, even still, the referees do not agree with that call. That is going to be a no lift on depth for Corey Catrancha. And what an effort that was regardless. Oh, my goodness. I would almost have to go to the jury on that one. And there we see on the screen there our jury. We've got Dane Roach, Mr. Mark Steiner. Excellent panel of jurors there. And so if any lifter wanted to contest any sort of call, that's who they would go to. In local level meet situations, you would go to the platform referees. However, now we have a jury. So now they're deliberating that call.
And our third jury official, Johnny Graham, Vice President of USA Powerlifting. Our final lift here on platform 2, David Villafranca up next with 292.5 kilos. Missed his opener, still went up in weight, got his second, and since upped his first third 7.5 kilos.
And we are starting up third attempts on platform 1 here. Ann Whitmarsh. Might as well call her an Oreo the way she dunked that squat. 3 white lights, and what more can you expect from the national champion? 3 white lights. David Villafranca finishes off platform 2 in style.
And as we round out our men's equipped masters division, we have David Villafranca in first with 292.5 kilo squat, 447 dots. Alan Crockover with 445 dots, and Ted Stewart rounding out our podium with 335 dot points for our men's equipped masters division.
And because this flight here on platform 2 is as short as it is, there's 6 lifters, they're going to be taking a 20-minute break while they get set up for the bench press. So if you're paying attention on platform 1, you're going to see a little bit of radio silence for the next 20 minutes, but don't go anywhere. We will see you very, very shortly, and we've still got action going on platform 1. Here's Miss Susan Paxson. She was able to redeem herself from that bobble that she had on that first attempt, able to clean up her second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are live at the 2025 Arnold Sports Festival here in Columbus, Ohio, for your USA Powerlifting Equipped Grand Prix, the bench press session. We're over here on platform 2. We've got 5 lifters, ladies and gentlemen, 5 lifters in this flight, so we will be going super fast. We're going to start it off with Mr. Ted Stewart. He's going to be taking 110 kilos, excuse me. That's 242 pounds, and that's going to be 2-to-1, a good lift. And folks, with 5 people in this flight, we're going to be instituting what's called compensatory time. And that means each of our lifters, once this flight has ended, so once David Villafranca has done his first attempt, there will be 1 minute of extra rest before Ted Stewart then takes his second attempt.
This just allows our lifters to get plenty of rest time when there aren't sufficient amount of lifters in a flight.
Bars loaded up now for Mr. Alan Crockover. Had a solid run through squats at 245 kilos, looking to open up bench press with 341 pounds. Wow.
Locks those triceps out, gets that rack command. 3 white lights.
Up next, Mr. Corey Catrancha, 180 kilos, 396 pounds, just shy of that 400-pound barrier.
Corey, who unfortunately was unable to post up a successful squat attempt earlier, but is returning to the bench press. Again, these lifters will be unable to post a total, but can still take the remaining attempts. And that's what we see here with Corey.
Here's Corey, gets that start command from the head referee. Like we've seen a bunch of times this weekend, folks, this equipped bench is going to be a lot more slower, a lot more controlled, and it looks like a bobble there for Mr. Corey, so that's going to be a no lift.
Again, when it comes to equipped lifting, especially on the equipped benching side of things, you really have to time. It's all about timing, right? It's all about timing, not only when you receive that press command, but being able to kind of almost catch that weight as it explodes off your chest.
Up next, Preston Savoy Jr. making his 4th appearance this weekend at the Arnold Sports Festival here in the equipped full power division.
So Preston will actually be lifting raw, though he's competing in the equipped division.
This is 180 kilos, so again, 396 pounds. He has already done 3 full rounds of bench pressing, so I'm sure he's a little bit tired, but this is the bench Preston. He made 396 look like air for the white lights. And last but not least, for our opening attempts here, Mr. David Villafranca. Opening us up with 245 kilos, 540 pounds for an opening bench attempt. And once again, folks, all of our lifters competing today in our full power session are up for some money. So all of our lifters in the equipped session, first place will get $1,000, second place $750, third place $500.
Nice and easy lift off for David here.
A little bit of a bobble, but he's able to lock it out here. The judge is going to give it to him, and they do not. That's going to be 3 red lights with both yellow and blue cards underneath. Now, interesting thing to note here, for all divisions, a red card for the bench press means that you did not touch your chest or make full contact with the bar with your chest. Now, you see that more often with equipped powerlifting. You know, you do have to fight against that suit to get to your proper touch point. However, in this bench, we didn't see that. He touched his chest perfectly fine. However, we might have seen his feet move. We might have seen missed command. We might have seen some up and downward motion there. Just further speaking to how technical equipped powerlifting can be. And like we were talking about in our squat, you know, all it takes is a simple groove or a simple fix of the groove, simple fix of your technique from one attempt to the next, and that can mean the difference between 500 and 600 pounds added onto the total. And it looks like Ted Stewart here is going to time out his second attempt here at 112.5. So we're going to go right along here to Mr. Alan Crockover. He's going to take 162.5 kilos.
A strategy we might see lifters implement here with, given the short rest times, is maybe timing out their, actually, that wasn't the Ted Stewart's attempt, that was the compensatory time. That was that 1
that's
minute.
right. You are absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So that was the 1 minute time allotted that these lifters are getting after every round of bench press because there is only 5 lifters in this flight. So now bar is loaded for Ted Stewart, who will be attempting 112.5 kilos.
This is a 2.5 kilo jump from his opening attempt at 242, so we're looking at 248 pounds. And folks, if you're watching over on platform 2, waiting for the action on platform 1, we've got about 1.5 minutes before we get started over there.
Very good attempt there by Ted Stewart. 3 white lights by the referees. That is a good lift.
Coming up next, Mr. Alan Crockover. They're getting that bar loaded up for him. 162.5 kilos, 359 pounds.
Alan rocking that USA powerlifting singlet there.
They don't make them like they used to. Beautiful. Textbook second attempt there for Mr. Alan Crockover. That's going to be a good lift. 3 white lights.
As you notice there, it's very explosive off the chest, but it really is until he gets to that lockout portion where he really has to lock and focus on extending those triceps to finish that final portion of the bench. Again, think of equipped benching like a rubber band bench shirts. So as the bar comes down, you're building that tension, building that almost that rebound effect. And after you press the bar off the chest, that bar really wants to pop off your chest. And then it's really until the very last portion where you really have to focus on locking those triceps out.
Absolutely. All right, folks, looks like we are getting the action started here. On platform 1, Miss Ann Whitmarsh is going to start us off. 42.5 kilo bench press. And then Corey Catrancha, unfortunately, not having the best day so far. Looking to get on the board with an opening attempt here at 180 kilos. Very slow, very patient to the chest. Finds that touch point.
Manages to
Finds
lock it out.
lockout, yep.
Let's see what those referees say on that bench.
2 to 1. He is on the board. All right, bars loaded on platform 1. Susan Paxson, 57.5 kilos, 126 pounds.
Preston on platform 2, taking a 195 kilo second attempt, 15 kilo jump.
which is pretty big. With 15 kilos, we're talking about 33 pounds, which for a bench press of any stature is pretty sizable.
He has benched as high as 215 throughout this whole weekend.
And dare I say, we might have a 210, 215 bench press here. That was easy. 3 white lights there for the bench Preston. And Susan Paxton, beautiful lockout there. Two to one, good lift.
David Villafranca is actually retaking 245 kilos, which he missed on his opening attempt.
David Villafranca, a massive bench press here, 540 pounds. And bars loaded here from Miss Vanina Brown. Now, oftentimes, folks, when we're seeing these bars loaded and the clock's ticking, but we don't see the lifter, it takes a little bit longer for the lifter to get their equipment on when they're competing in the equipped division. So getting those wrist straps on, getting the shirt just right, does take a little bit of extra time. Here's David Villafranca.
Able to lock it out. 2 to 1.
2 to 1, no lift, unfortunately. I'm very interested to see what the call there was for. If it was a yellow card, I wonder if possibly his butt came up on one side, maybe his feet shifted there. It sounded like he abode by all the commands. So we see his handler there approaching the referee or the jury table, looking to contest that call.
Once again, our jury is there to oversee both platforms to ensure that all the rules and rules of performance are being adhered to as specified by the powerlifting rulebook.
All right, bars loaded for platform 1, Miss Nandy G. 85 kilos, 187 pounds. And we are going to take our compensatory 1-minute break now on platform 2. Then Ted's going to start us our third attempts with 115 kilos. Safe 2.5 kilo jumps across the board. Beautiful bench press there by Nandy G.
Nandy, who has gone 5 for 5 so far, really looking really good on the bench press.
And to do so equipped is very, very difficult. That speaks to the execution and the practice, the discipline that Nandy has whenever she steps up to the platform.
Bar is being loaded up for Ted Stewart for his third and final bench press attempt on platform 2.
And then here's Miss Kaolani Richardson. Opening attempt at 264 pounds. All right, here's Ted getting set up under that now. Kaolani Richardson, she gets the lift off there on platform 1. Wide grip, wide stance. Slow and controlled on the way down. Beautiful press there. Kaolani Richardson, returning national champion, 3 white lights. Coming up next for both platforms, platform 1, Andy Bui, going to be taking 127.5 kilos, 281 pounds. And then Alan Crockover on platform 2, taking 170 kilos, 374 pounds. While we're waiting for our lifters to get set up here, good time to give a shout out to A7 Demand Greatness, our primary and presenting sponsor for USA Powerlifting here at the Arnold Sports Festival. Supplying all the fits for our spotters and loaders. Andy Bui, 3-2-1, blast off Houston, 0 problems there, 3 white lights. And now bars loaded on platform 2 for Corey Catrancha, adding 10 kilos to that bench attempt there, 180. So we've got 190 kilos, 490 118 pounds. Unfortunately, Corey unable to post a total or place for the remainder of this meet. However, hitting this third attempt bench press here will give him a lot of momentum going into deadlifts. McKenna Henderson, bar is loaded, 145 kilos. This is a massive bench press. This is a 3-plate date for all you folks in the gym. And McKenna Henderson does not need help, ladies and gentlemen. 3 white lights.
And Corey, unfortunately, unable to lock out 190 kilos.
Coming up next here, platform 2, Preston Savoy Jr.
With another 15-kilo jump for Preston.
Yep, so there's that 210. So this is his best 210. Or sorry, he hit 215 yesterday.
Yep.
In our full power session. So 210, 5 kilos underneath that. Want to be sure we have a clean run across the board here. Cordarius Harris, beautiful opening bench press there, 3 white lights. And folks, we're coming up on our last 2 bench pressers of the day over here on platform 2, Preston Savoy and David Villafranca. Preston Savoy here, closer grip as well. Very strong and controlled.
Squeezing out every kilo possible out of that bench press. Preston Savoy, 3 white lights, that is a good lift.
Coming up next here, Mr. David Villafranca. Currently forecasted first, but has to make this bench press attempt in order to solidify that. If not, he is at risk of losing it all, of bombing out. So we're very tuned in to see what Mr. David Villafranca can do with this bench press here. This will keep him in first place if he makes it. If not, then Alan Crockover will take over as our first placer in the men's equipped masters class. Josue Leon finding his way to lockout. A little bit tougher than you'd want to see for an opening attempt there for Josue. I wonder if there was a little bit of a misgroove there.
David staying patient here with the setup, making sure everything is right here for his third and final bench attempt, which, as a reminder, he needs this in order to stay in the meet. Able to lock it out.
That looked very, very clean, very smooth. Come on, judges. 3 white
lights.
lights. David Villafranca able to make his way back from the edge. Able to get on the board and is now sitting very comfortably in first place with the forecasted dots well ahead of the rest of the pack here. And with that, that's going to be the end of our action on platform 2. But don't go anywhere. We've still got a ton of action going on platform 1. So be sure to tune in there. But if you're looking for platform 2 deadlifts, we'll see you in 20 minutes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here live for the deadlift session, our last bit of powerlifting for the day for the USA Powerlifting 2025 Arnold Sports Festival Equipped Grand Prix. Ted Stewart with an easy opening attempt there at 402 pounds. That's 3 white lights. Coming up next, Mr. Corey Catroncha, 220 kilos. Here's Corey Catroncha, 485-pound opener here. Three white lights there for Corey Catroncha. Good opening attempt there for deadlifts. And folks, this is our short flight, so we only have 5 lifters in this flight. So after Preston Savoy hits his last deadlift attempt, we will be taking 1 minute of compensatory time before we go back to our second attempts. Here's David Villafranca, 225 kilos, 496 pounds. Currently sitting in 4th place on forecasted total here. And that's going to be a good lift.
David fell a little behind over on the bench press event, only going 1 for 3 after having posted up a massive 292.5 kilo squat. So let's see how he can build back into his position as he is within striking distance of 3rd place.
Alan Crockover electing to go for a more narrow sumo stance here, otherwise known as the froggy stance.
Seems to work well for him.
It was a very clean open there. He's almost gripping on the smooth part of the bar as well, which is what we're going to see Mr. Preston Savoy do here in just a quick second. It's one of my favorite things to watch Preston Savoy deadlift because he grips on the smooth part of the bar, not the part of the bar you're supposed to be gripping on.
500-pound opener here for Preston. Very well under his max. He's deadlifted as high as 300 kilos.
Now, if we know anything about Preston, he's going to take some big old jumps. So we'll see what happens here. Product of the Raging Cajuns. 2-1. That's going to be a good lift. Now we're getting into our 1 minute of compensatory time before we get into Mr. Ted Stewart and our rest of our second attempts.
Again, as a reminder, this 1 minute clock will play before the next weight is loaded for Ted. This just allows lifters to have plenty of rest time between attempts since they are essentially following each other up. We see on the video board in the back basement barbell bar don't lie. Brandon Diamond actually competed earlier this weekend in the men's masters division. Another quick shout out to our sponsors, A7 Demand Greatness. A7 International, get your lifting equipment here at our booth right next to the USA Powerlifting stage, and as well as Pioneer Fit with amazing custom leather belts manufactured here in the US of A.
All right, now we've got that 1 minute done, so we're going to get the bar loaded now from Mr. Ted Stewart. He's going to be going up to 190 kilos, so 418 pounds. Knocking on the door of his all-time best here. His best deadlift, 192.5. He's hitting just under that for his second attempt, so we're looking for an all-time PR here. And the bar is loaded, clock is ticking, so now we're going to wait for Mr. Ted.
Again, these lifters do have a full minute to start their deadlift, so really getting as much time as they possibly can for their recovery.
Here we go, Mr. Ted Stewart. We see he's coming out in knee wraps, so that's probably what that extra 2 seconds was for. Just getting those knee wraps on. It does take a little bit of extra time. Beautiful.
Very smooth, very easy. Lets that bar down gently, and he gets three white lights.
We love when Lifting Cast gives us a little bit of a delay. It adds that added suspense. Here's Corey Catrancha. 232.5 kilos, 12.5 kilo jump, which is quite sizable. Unfortunately, Corey not able to post a total or run for any placings, as he was not able to do or complete a squat attempt. However, we're very grateful to see him complete the rest of the meet here onto his second attempt of deadlift. We see the powerlifting pirate Gino in the background. He's got wings today. Here's Corey. Oh, not able to find it off the knees there. Looks like he got a little dazed coming off the platform there. Might have got a little lightheaded.
Up next, we got David Villafranca taking a 10-kilo jump, 235 kilos. Starting off very strong on deadlift with a very easy 225. It's currently forecasted with a 482 dot points.
David Villafranca, the biggest bench presser of this session, had a 245-kilo bench press. Looking to add on some more weight to that. That's 3 white lights.
David knocking on the door of 500 dots. Let's see if he loads up what he needs in order to secure that. Very milestone marker there for him.
And folks, if you're watching on Platform 2, waiting for Platform 1, we've got about 5 minutes left before we get the action started. There's Alan taking his time getting set up there. This is 518 pounds. Very smooth. You're going to see that a lot with pullers that elect to do that more sumo stance. It's going to be a little bit slower off the floor. It might be a little bit slower as it comes up to lockout. However, if the lifter maintains their position as it moves slow, it's going to be a lot easier to get that lockout. Here's Preston Savoy Jr. I mean, I kind of predicted it, folks. Massive, massive jumps here. He went from 227 to 272. He went from about 480 something or other to about
pounds?
600.
500 to 600?
5, 6. Do we see 650 to 7? I think we see a 700-pound pull. Here's Preston Savoy Jr. gripping on the smooth, as only a devious lad like himself would, product of the Raging Cajuns. Wow. 2 to 1. That's going to be a good lift.
There we see our chief referee, Joy Black, letting him know what that red light was for. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we have that 1 minute of compensatory time running right now. 30 seconds left on that. There's a shot right there of both of our platforms. With about 4 minutes remaining until Platform 1 resumes their deadlift session.
You see the USAPL Equipped Grand Prix in view of the Arnold Sports Festival going on in the background. 10 seconds left here in this compensatory time before we go into our third attempts, our last lifting to be had on Platform 2.
our spotters and loaders and getting the bar loaded up for Ted Stewart.
And here we go. Bar is loaded. The clock has started. We have now begun our last round of deadlifting today, folks. And we were only going to have 4 final deadlifts on platform 2. Corey Catrancha looks like he's going to scratch his 3rd attempt here, so it will be Ted Stewart, Alan Crockover, David Villafranca, followed by Preston Savoy Jr. to round out our action on platform 2. Remember, Ted Stewart, he's getting those wraps on in the background, so it's going to take that extra little bit.
He's got 20 seconds remaining, and there he goes.
And 20 seconds, not for nothing, is a good amount of time. It's a good play I've seen used by a lot of coaches as well when you have shorter flights like this to allow that lifter to use their full time. Rather than immediately going out when the say bar is loaded, take your time, go out there. You have a full minute. And especially with deadlift, as long as you're able to get, or as long as you're able to initiate your lift before that minute ends, you're good. So use that extra time, use that extra rest. It can only help you.
And Ted Stewart successful in his 3rd and final deadlift, 192.5 kilos. And that solidifies his 3rd place spot here in the men's equipped masters division.
All right, Mr. Alan Crockover, 529 pounds, currently in 2nd place. Here's Alan Crockover. Good effort there by Alan Crockover. Very happy with his performance across the board. 7 for 9 at the Arnold. Nothing to sneeze at, ladies and gentlemen, and a silver medal to boot. Now we've got our current first placer, Mr. David Villafranca. Again, back from the brink after that very scary bench. But now he's looking to extend that lead with this last deadlift here.
David, another one of our lifters who's competing in both the equipped masters and equipped open division, kind of double dipping into both divisions. This will also land him in provisional 4th in the men's equipped open.
And there we go, folks. That's
Very
it.
easy deadlift for him. 3 for 3, 3 white lights.
And we've got our last deadlifter of the day, Mr. Preston Savoy Jr., going up 320 kilos. I was right, 705, folks. We went 550, we went 500, 600, and now we are at 705 for Mr. Preston Savoy Jr. Oh, change that. We're going to go up a little bit more so that Preston Savoy can get into 1st place here. 716 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. This is a massive pull that will put him into 1st place.
So the bar has changed now for Preston Savoy, who upped his 3rd and final deadlift by 5 kilos, 325 kilos here, 716-pound deadlift for Preston.
And this is the pull for all the marbles here. This is the pull for the quick grand in his pocket.
We saw
Preston
500,
Savoy
we
Jr.
saw 600. Can we see 700 pounds from Preston here?
Preston Savoy is able to
Gets
get
it
it off the floor. Can he hold on to it?
Unfortunately, not there today.
What a run that was, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my goodness.
Who knows? Maybe 320 might have been the call.
320 might have been the call. And it's interesting you make that point there. That little attempt change right at the very end might have been the difference there from being able to stand it up and get that full lockout. And unfortunately, that keeps Preston down in our 2nd place spot. So our winner for today in the equipped portion is going to be...
Well, we still got plenty of lifting left to go.
We do. That's right. Wrong one.
Yeah, so Preston secured his 5th place spot here at the Men's Equipped Open with a 458 dots points. But as it stands, this flight did wrap up our Men's Equipped Masters division, where we have David Villafranca, who lead the pack and won with a 490 points dots coefficient score, and Alan Crockover coming in second with 463, and Ted Stewart rounding out our podium with 367 dots. That concludes the Men's Equipped Masters division and our lifting here on Platform 2 at the Arnold Sports Festival Equipped Grand Prix.
That's right. My name is Nick Stevens.
I'm Kevin Serrano.
And we will see you soon. But we've still got some action going on Platform 1, so don't go anywhere. Be sure you tune into the action, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much.